Hey everyone, this is Bridget, and today we're going to be talking about past life soul themes. So you might know particularly a life that you had, one life that you had, and that's incredible. Like, that's a good job. That's amazing. And one of the things that can happen as you understand actually themes or multiple lives that you have is that it can enhance this life because you've had many of them, and so it might lead to the actual magic or the actual challenge that you are having in this particular life. So I find that it's actually more helpful to find soul themes than rather even individual lives. So I wanted to bring this into the conversation because it just enhances the whole experience of this past life conversation. I have a whole video dedicated on how to remember your past life, so that is a great place to start, and then come back on over here to understand the idea of soul themes. One of the things that can happen lifetime after lifetime, incarnation after incarnation, is the development, particularly in spiritual lives, of our organs of perception, and also in our etheric body, these imprints that could be, negative from past experiences that we've had from these other lives, right? So that's why we talk about such things as past life healing. And I would love to know, comment below right now if you would like to see a video on how to heal your past lives, and I'll make one for you guys. So comment below yes if you're interested in that. So one of the things that happens, right, is that certain imprints are embedded or certain perceptions are developed. So this being said, when we've had certain lives in certain themes that have continued on, then it's just accessible, right? It's just ripe mastery for us to harness. Or if it's been lifetime after lifetime of deep challenge, then there's a lot there that might need to be looked at, but it can be chunked. Just think about it. If we've had many lifetimes and we're going around like seeing one and checking it off and then another one, this is a kind of a chunking process to understand our greater soul nature and bring greater healing or bring greater understanding in an accelerated manner. So I want to get into some of these themes that you might have so you can start to identify that. So one of the themes is the path of the mystic. One of them is the path of the warrior. One of them is the path of the magician. One of them is the path of the lover, and one of them is the path of knowledge. So there's 5 soul theme pathways that you might be sprinkled in. You can have more than one, of course, but there might be these, common themes. So for instance, you might have the kind of witch priestess thing going on, and so that would be more of the path of the magician that you've had through different incarnations, and that would lead to probably the development of certain spiritual faculties that maybe you've mastered over time, that then you can awaken more quickly in this life. For instance, if you've been more of the path of the warrior, maybe there's more challenge or damage in that. Or maybe you've developed great empowerment in your energetic body so that you can also harness that in challenging times, during this awakening in the changing world, you can harness that. So what we're really wanting to do is ask the question, whether it's an individual life or a life theme, is how can I utilize this right now, right? And what is the medicine or what is the lesson of this so that I can just become more whole, right? Because one of the things is we're just having this individual soul experience right now, but we are a part of a greater oversoul having many different lifetimes at once. It's like the umbrella having many different lifetimes at once. And also these different lives can also be perceived and tapped into by other people. So this is where people might say, like, I had this life as Cleopatra, but then there's like a million people saying that. And so we can tap into it. And one of the reasons that we're tapping into it is because it might not be the exact, like, you had the life of Cleopatra, but you're tapping into the energetic stream of it. So part of this is, again, there's a stream of a theme that's going on, and then there's also a stream of relevancy. And so it's like, okay, what is this stream of relevancy? And if it's relevant, that means it applies to my life, and how do I apply it to my life? So it's really cool and helpful and dynamic to go into this on a deeper level. Some of the things that we do in these themes as well is we jump between the polarities of them. So even if you've had like a theme, for instance, of the magician, and it would be easy to just say, I was this wonderful priestess for all my lives. But one of the things that happens in this soul experience, right, is kind of moving between polarities. So like the perpetrator and the victim. And so you might have had, for instance, like lives where you completely perpetrated and were like this evil sorcerer, but then the next life you could be this amazing healer, right? So it goes between the two. And so acknowledging the different energies that you've played out. And I said in my other video, it's really helpful to tune into those other dark lives so that you don't repeat it, so that you take in that energy and then clean it within your own system to proceed with light. So all of these pathways, for instance, these different soul themes, right, they're archetypal, right? And so it's like, what archetypes are you playing out? And these archetypes have the negative side and they have the positive side. So there's the polarity of them. And so what is the higher aspect of them that then you can harness and play out in this particular lifetime? And I'll be going into these specific things deeper into another video or a course, but I just wanted to start to get the idea of chunking and seeing these archetypal themes play out, because it's just really, really deep when we tune into it on that level. So one of the things that can happen when we're tuning into these energies on an individual level is that if you have these certain like lifetimes that are very specific, they keep on coming up and coming up. They're coming up because they're almost like an anchor back to that time. They're literally like a karmic cord that is wanting to be resolved so that you can come back into this present moment, and you can also bring greater harmony between all of the different webbings of these lifetimes that you're experiencing. So this cord wants to be looked at and addressed, especially if it's coming up. It might be a lesson, right, that you hadn't learned or that's coming up for you to resolve or heal in this life. And so acknowledging that that's what it is. And one of the things that's really cool, okay, so we're having these simultaneous lives. And some lives are more advanced and more conscious, right? We're tapping into, say, like extraterrestrial lives that we've had, and it's assisting us in raising our vibration in this life. And so these, quote, future or past lives, say, like in the stars, are incredibly enhancing to tune into and to utilize in this life. Now, there can be on the other side, say, certain Earth lives or even certain negative star lives that were challenging, you know, and some of these lives where, for instance, in the past, say like women didn't have rights and they were, you know, like raped or killed, or someone was on the path of knowledge, for instance, was the keeper of an ancient mystery school and was, you know, killed for protecting knowledge. And so it comes up in this life as, you know, the fear of speaking out, right, in fear of being killed, like those kinds of energies that come up. And one of the things that's so amazing is that these pathways of communication are open and active right now. It's all happening now, and this communication, if you're feeling them, if you're feeling that, then they can also feel you. Maybe some of them aren't going to have the capacities to do that, or the capacities in their own time to understand or what even is going on. But one of the ways that you can look at it, if it is, say, a life that is maybe less evolved or was super challenging, is to realize that you can actually play a part of almost being like a guide or their higher self, right? You, in some ways, are literally a future self, say, if it was in the past, even though it is all now, right? But you are someone's future self. And so in that space, you can bring through the transmission of saying, for instance, well, right now we're in the 21st century and it's not fully safe, but it's safer. There's equality for women, you know, or these certain things have changed, you know. I mean, mass poverty is being reduced by massive amounts right now, like no time in history. And so there can be this level of hope and consciousness and awareness and kindness and love that can stream back through to those other times. And that's one of the ways that you can heal, but also to mend and close those loops. If they're coming up, they're relevant, right? Because it's something that you need to look at in this time. But you can also close that loop, sending it love and understanding and kind of cutting the cord of whatever lesson it was wanting to teach you. There can be, right, negative kind of like cordings, but then there can also be positive kind of light lines, transmissions running back and forth. So it's understanding and differentiating between those two energies, which is really significant. So that's a really good way to work with individual lives, and that's just one way. So again, let me know if you want to see more about how to heal them. So I invite you to dive into this idea of soul themes and figure out what yours have been, so that you know more of who you are and what you already have as your arsenal of tools and special powers or experiences that you can draw upon to bring this world into a better place. We have a short time here on Earth, and so let's make the most of it, and let's draw upon those other lifetimes that we've already had so many experiences and bring that into the conscious level, so that we can really bring light and love and clarity and resilience and empowerment to Earth right now. So I hope this video has been helpful and that you've enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notifications every time I do new videos, and I'll be doing more videos on this topic. I really appreciate you watching. I really appreciate you tapping into these deeper aspects of yourself so you can become more whole and awesome for yourself and for the world. So I thank you for that, and I will see you every Tuesday and Thursday with a new video.